Taliyah Je'na, and welcome back to Licensed Yapper Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. I am so excited. Okay, last week I did my very first episode of Licensed Yapper, and I have to say, I want to start off by saying thank you so much for all the love, the support, all the comments. That has been very eye-opening and it made me feel so loved. Also very nervous. I love tension, but that was a bit much for me. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's listening, and thank you to everybody who did listen to last week's episode, my very first one. I was so nervous, but so excited to launch it, and I'm just so happy with how it came out, and the response has been amazing. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you. And I'm so excited to continue these and, have more topics to talk about and really share myself with you guys. So I hope you guys really stick around. So today I really wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind quite a lot recently. I want to talk about friendships when you're an adult friendships. Because I feel like a lot of the times people come up where it's like, oh, when you're an adult, your friendships aren't going to be the same, which is completely true. They're not going to be the same. Everything changes. Everything is different than how it used to be. But I'm a firm believer of y'all were adults, y'all were all busier, we all have things going on. Some of us are married now, some of us are in, long-term relationships. Some of us have kids. Ooh, Jesus. Thank the Lord I don't have kids. But some of us have kids. And it's hard. It is hard to, meet up with the girls, meet up with your friends, and really have that time together. But it's not that hard. It's not impossible. And I really want to talk about that because, for me at least, I have had not the best, not the best luck with friends. I feel like a lot of the times, people who I call a friend, and I'm someone where if I call you my friend, I don't just throw around that word. To me, if you're my friend, I care about you. I'll do anything for you. I won't go to jail for you, but I'll do anything for you. You are an important person in my life, and I feel like a lot of the times that's not reciprocated from other people. I give 100% into my friendships. I love the people that I have in my circle. It's a small circle, but I love all of them so deeply, and they all matter to me. And I have a separate relationship with all of them. That's something that I want to prioritize. I want to prioritize in my 23 years of age as an adult, like I did back then. But and it's different though. It's not like, we're not going to be around each other 24/7, hanging out every single weekend. If people have things going on, and I feel like you should have that understanding. But for me, I feel like I come across a lot of friends, quote unquote friends, who use my kindness for weakness, and they take advantage of how much I care about them, and it's never reciprocated. I saw someone say this thing one time where it was like, I fill up somebody else's cup, but my cup's never getting filled. So if I'm that person who keeps filling into other people, helping them, and I'm not getting it back, it does suck. And it does feel like the friendship is one-sided. And I do think, again, we all have things going on in life, but to put time away for your friends is very, very important to me. I don't see my friends every single day, but I'm texting them regularly. We're always talking about something, where it's about what's going on at work, or what's going on in our private lives, or what's going on TikTok, stupid stuff. I always want to make sure I'm in contact with them because they are important to me. And anything they have going on, I want to be involved, and I hope they feel the same about me. And sometimes it doesn't end that way, and I have so many stories that I want to tell about that because I've spent nights crying. I haven't cried in a long time, but I've lost friends that I really wanted to keep, and I feel like when I look back at those friendships, I 100% put more effort into them, which sucks. It sucks so hard when you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or when you start to realize you mean more to me than I mean to you. that is a realization that it's not fun to have, but it's important to have, because you don't want people in your life that aren't going to do the same that you would do for them. You know what I mean? It should be equal, and it's not. And you realize that, especially getting older. I'm in my early 20s, and there are some friendships that I've lost that it's been very sad. Friendships that I thought that person was going to be my life forever, and it didn't end that way. And this topic came to me because, story time! Last weekend, I went out with some friends. I love karaoke. I am the queen of karaoke, y'all. I love karaoke. I will sing every single time I'm there. I'm dancing. I'm having a ball. I'm having a good time, girl. I have a time at karaoke. It's my favorite thing to do. So, I went to karaoke, to get together with some friends, and I remember I went in kind of early. The rest of the girls weren't there yet. I went a little bit early just to, scope out the scene. See who's around. Okay, also keep in mind, I never see people from my past or from my high school at this spot. It's a popular spot. I just never run into people I know there, which I love, because there's some people I don't want to see. Just to be honest, I don't want to, but anyways, I'm walking through there, and I see someone that I used to be best friends with, and I see her, and it's weird because, I'm going to tell y'all the story, but it's weird because me and this girl were so close, joined at the hip, did everything together, texting her all the time. If I wasn't texting my family, I was texting her, talking to her on the phone, and going on family vacations with her. And to have so many memories with someone, so many memories, so many laughs, so many things, so many Snapchat memories, pictures with this one person, and we are strangers now, it's weird. And I blame my mother, because that morning, I'm chilling at home and we're talking, and my mom goes, we're gonna call her, let's give her a name. Let's call her Rose. It's actually funny that I just came up with that. But I'm sitting there, and she goes, hey, I saw on Facebook that Rose has been liking a lot of your stuff. And I don't know if y'all have parents like this, but my parents are definitely the parents that bring up old friendships from ages ago, and you're like, why are you talking about that person? I haven't spoken to that person in 10 million years, but they like to just bring that person up. It's ridiculous. When I'm friends with them, they don't remember their names, but then when I'm not friends with them anymore, all of a sudden they remember everything about that person. It's so weird and strange. But she's sitting there, she's like, I saw Rose in your Facebook likes, and I'm like, yeah, I noticed, Rose, followed and everything like that, and she's supporting, and that's nice. And she was like, have you talked to Rose in a minute? And I'm like, no, I haven't talked to Rose in 4 years. It's been a minute, but I think it's interesting that she's supporting kinda, but we're not talking. I was like, it's a little interesting. And then that night I see her. So Mary definitely spoke that into the atmosphere. But I'm there and I see her and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I used to be someone who doesn't care. I really don't care. Once I exit you out of my life, I'm kind of done. But it was just weird because the last time I spoke to her was 2024. I haven't seen her since December of 2024, right? It's 2026. It's been a minute since I've seen her. So I was, it really, I was like, oh, this is so ironic. This is so funny, haha. So, but I say this because me and Rose's friendship, we were friends, we met back in middle school, but we weren't really that close of friends, and then we met each other, or got reintroduced to each other in college. So what, 8th grade to college, what is that, 5 years apart? We're at this new college that's in another town from our hometown. And she's there too, and I don't know, I remember either she put on her Snapchat or I put on her Snapchat, anybody want to meet up or something. We met up, that day we met up for the first time, we were inseparable the rest of the school year. It probably was, 3 days into college, and the day we met up, just to say hi, because we we were who we knew at the college. We were inseparable throughout the entire year. She was my best friend. We did everything together. We lived on campus together. She slept over at my dorm. We did everything together. If you saw me walking around the campus, you saw Rose with me. We were just buds, tight. We went on family vacations together. We did everything together. But something about Rose that made me upset that's when I realized I don't want this in another friend. She was very inconsiderate. To the point where, at first, when it first happens, you're like, okay, like, and you start making excuses like, oh, that's just Rose. But when it happens over and over and over and over again, in 4 years, you kind of get sick. At the end of this 4 years of friendship, you kind of get sick and tired of it a little bit. It becomes annoying. It doesn't become oh, that's Rose. It's okay, that might be Rose, but she needs to change. Like, it's not okay at this point. And things would happen where, like, we would plan something, right? I would plan to do something. Keep in mind, if I didn't plan to do anything, it wasn't happening. I always say to people, if you're in a friendship where you're putting all the work, you're making the plans, you're doing this, you're doing that, and they're doing none of it, that is not a friendship that's gonna work. That's called a one-way friendship, babe, and it's not gonna last. A friendship works both ways, right? It's not gonna work if I'm the one making all the plans and you're just there, okay? So I'm sitting here making all the plans, we're good, but like, I just started to notice that the day of the plan, so let's say I make a plan on Monday. Monday comes, I hear zip from Rose, nothing. I'm like, okay, this is interesting, like, not even hey, what time are we meeting up? Like, how are you dressing? Nothing, right? I'll check, Instagram, social media, and she's out with either other people or her boyfriend, right? Which is fine, but it's like, if you wanted to hang out with other people, do other things, that's fine, just let me know. And then when I would say something, oh, I forgot. Okay, that's fine. That started happening 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. It became a pattern, right? Whether she would either, quote unquote, forget about our plans, or we would have plans and she would completely, I wouldn't hear from her for the whole day. And then it'd be like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about whatever. Or sometimes I wouldn't even bring it up. Because I don't like to be around people who don't like to be around me. And it felt weird, but she was my best friend, so I wanted to fix it. I wanted to confront it, and I would confront her so many times. Like, girly pop, what is going on? Like, that wasn't quite nice. I didn't appreciate that. Like, like, what's going on here? And keep in mind, I'm like, 18 at the time, 19 at the beginning of our friendship, where that's starting to happen. And we also became really close friends with this guy that we met at college. Let's call him Jordan. And me and her and Jordan were super close, super bonded. Like, we were super close. And we'd be going on FaceTime, and I would tell Jordan, this happened, while Rose is on the phone call. And Jordan would have to be like, yeah, that's not cool. Maybe let's not do that. And we would apologize and make up. But after the 5th apology, I'm getting kind of sick of it, right? But I'm also someone who, when I care about someone, I care about them. So I want to keep you in my life. This is happening throughout the 4 years that we're friends. And I don't want to end the friendship because I love her. Like, we click, bro. We have a good time together. But it felt like every time she called, it was about her, right? And time would pass before I would hear from her again. But I would, see her with other people, and I'd be like, this is so interesting. Like, I'm supposed to be your girl, and it's feeling like I'm forcing something, or I'm forcing you to be my friend, and you don't want to be my friend, And it got to a point towards, I want to say, the last year of our friendship. I just had to say something. Because for me, when it comes to my friends, I don't like confrontation. With anybody else, girl, I will speak my mind. I will speak my opinion. But with my friends, I don't like confrontation. I don't like to feel awkward because I love them. Like, I truly, truly love my friends. And I don't want any awkwardness with them. But it got to a point towards the end of our friendship where I was just like, I can't take this anymore. And I remember I was on the phone. We were FaceTiming or something with her. And I was like, Rose, do you think we're friends? And I remember her just being like, yeah, we're friends. Like, Like, yeah, like, duh. I'd be like, well, I mean, if I compare our friendship to my other friendships, it doesn't really feel the same. Like, I laugh with my friends. We talk about everything. I talk to them all the time. Even if I don't see them, I'm always talking to them. I will not. I could go with a week or 2 weeks without hearing from her, and then she'd pop up out of nowhere, call me on the phone, and talk about just her. It never was. And how are you, Taliyah? And I went through a breakup while we were friends, and it just felt like none of it mattered. And I get this, like, again, we're adults, we have things going on for sure. But if you have a friend that is like that towards you, why wouldn't you want to reciprocate that the other way? You know what I mean? Like, I hate the whole we're all busy crap. Yeah, we're all busy, but you make time for the people you care about. And if I see that you're making time for other people, of course it's gonna make me feel like, whoa, like if I'm not someone, that's and you're if I'm not someone that is not even quote unquote important, but if I'm just not someone you care about to be in your life anymore, just tell me. But don't keep stringing me along and making me feel like I'm going crazy when when this isn't what it used to be, and that's fine. And I asked her, I was like, do you think we're friends? And I remember I cried on that phone call because I really loved her as a friend, but I had to start to realize I don't like the way you treat me. I remember telling her that, which I've already told her that before. Like, I don't really love the way you treat me. It doesn't feel good. I don't like when you cancel on me the day of, or when you act like we didn't have plans, or when you cancel plans on me to hang out with other people. Like, that doesn't feel good. Like, I don't want to see you text me in the morning, hey girly pop, I can't make it. And then I go on social media and you're chilling, laughing it up with other people. Like, that will make me feel bad. That will make me feel like crap. And I remember telling her that and crying. And she was just like, yeah, I mean, we are. Like, of course, Taliyah, da-da-da-da-da. And I remember that was probably the last time I had that type of conversation with her, because before then I had so many with her throughout the 4 years we were friends. There were times where I had a college project, my capstone. And if you don't know, a capstone is something a lot of majors do at the end of the school year before you graduate. And some of it depends on if you graduate or not. I was like, and I had to make a documentary. And I was like, I would love to do a documentary about you. She has like an interesting life story. And when I told you, it was like pulling teeth to film that documentary. I had to keep reminding her, like, girly pop, get it together. This is for a grade. This is for school. Like, if you didn't have the time to do it, you should have just told me. You know what I mean? I could have pivoted, but you didn't. And it always was just like her telling me these things, but never following up with them or owning her crap either. And I remember one time she told me that somebody else in her life called her inconsiderate, and I was like, yeah, you kind of are. You are inconsiderate. You think about yourself, which is fine. I love myself. I'm the queen. I am the president of fan club Taliyah. I love Taliyah, but I'm not gonna always. But I like to put people before me sometimes. I like to cater to people. I like, especially my friends. I love my friends. I'm not gonna turn my back on them. And it felt like she was just like treating me like crap because I was allowing her to. I was allowing her to, if I'm being honest. Because I didn't want that friendship to end, and because I loved her so much, I didn't want to let it go. But I had to realize, if I sit here and compare this friendship to my other friendships, and this is the girl I call my best friend, is it really though? Is it really though? And I remember we had that conversation, it ended fine, and I don't remember ever hearing, I don't know if we probably chatted a couple times after, but there was a time where I didn't reach out anymore, so I didn't hear anything, she didn't call me. A year passes by, 2 years passes by, and here we are today, and I still haven't heard from her. And when I saw her over that weekend on karaoke, circling back to karaoke, sorry, I went on a tangent, but last weekend when I saw her, and we were in the same vicinity, like not even just in the same space, we were like all 2 feet away from each other. We were so close to each other. And this is a girl who was like, you're gonna be my maid of honor, I want you to plan my wedding with me, all these things, we're gonna have kids, our kids are gonna, all this crap, right? And probably one of the closest friendships I've had in a long time before then. because I went through something again where I kind of lost all my friends in high school, and that sucked. And if y'all want to hear that story, I could really go into that because that one's kind of sad. But I'll tell that one next week. But so when I met her, I was like, yo, this is what real friendship is like. Like, this is real friendship. But I had to realize that's what I thought. That wasn't what she was feeling, and that was a shock. So when I saw her, and we were 2 feet away from each other, I know she saw me, right? We never made eye contact the whole night, but I know she saw me, and I definitely saw her. We were right next to each other at one point. And for me, in my brain, I remember texting my mom, like, you won't believe who was at karaoke right now. And throughout that night, I don't know what I expected from her. I don't know whether I expected her to be like, oh my gosh, hey girly, like I haven't seen you in a long time, or just like a little wave, or just a little smile, something to acknowledge my presence. She didn't acknowledge me at all. There was one point where I'm standing and I'm talking to someone else, and her friends are sitting at this table right next to me. And in my peripheral, because I have really good peripheral vision, I have 20/20 vision, my peripheral vision is spot on, all right? So I'm standing there, and I see the girl that she's sitting with, the 2 girls that she's sitting with, grew up with my sister, and my sister and them were friends back in, grade school days. And so I see them look at me and do a double take. I think the sisters thought I was my sister, because people who aren't part of my family think me and my sister look alike. And I see them look at me in my peripheral, and then I see Girly Pop, Rose, also look at me. So she obviously saw me, and the fact that now we're acting like we're strangers, and for me, I feel like you did me kind of dirty. Like, you kind of treated me badly in our friendship, so I'm not going to come up to you. I have too much pride for that, and I will admit it. I'm not coming up to you. You should come up to me. If anything, you should come up to me and talk to me, wave to me, give me a little, hey girlie, something. That's just my brain. I feel like I don't owe it to you to do something. Like, you did me dirty. I'm not going to come up to you. You're going to come up to me. You treated me like a bad friend, not me. So you did, and she did it the whole night. And I was just like, wow. I just remember being there, having fun, obviously, but in my brain just being like, wow, like that's crazy. So, like, someone who was so important to me at one point, now we're acting like we're strangers and that we don't know each other, and that not like things that I haven't told people before. Like, we just are gonna act like we don't know each other. And her fiance was standing right behind me, and that's another thing. I missed them getting engaged, bro. I was there the day her and her fiance met for the very first time. I was there for basically their whole relationship, and the fact that now we're gonna act like hanging out with them all the time, and now we're gonna just act like we don't know each other. Her fiance was sitting right behind me. I remember turning and talking to someone. He was right there, didn't speak to me, and not that I wanted them to, but it just was like a whoa, like that is kind of sad, Someone, and we all have those friendships where. And girls' friendships are weird. Girls are mean. Girls are mean. Girls are petty. I'm a petty girl. I can be a mean girl at times. I'll raise my hand up and say that. But it was just like, whoa, like, and I remember going home that night and just thinking and being like, that's kind of sad. Like, someone who I thought I was 100% going to be in her wedding, and I was going to get that call when she got engaged, or I was going to know what time she was going to get engaged, and she was going to call. Like, all these moments that we talked about that we would experience together, or I thought I was going to be a part of, I'm not a part of anymore. And it's sad. It's really sad. And I remember when I lost her as a friend, I did cry, because I'm someone who cries over their friends. I do. I hate losing friends. That's the worst to me. That's why my circle is so small as it is now, because when I find people, they're my people. When I call you, when I said I call you a friend, I call you a friend. When I call you my people, you're my people. Like, I don't make a lot of new friends, because the ones who I have, I love desperately. And she was a part of that at one time. And it's just sad that now we could be in a space together and not even acknowledge each other's presence. Like, and yeah, should I have been the one to be like, hey, sure, in hindsight, could I have done that? Yeah. But if I really think about it, I am still hurt by the way she treated me. And I thought I wasn't. Like, I really thought I moved on from that. But seeing her again, I feel like it kind of sparked all those emotions again and made me be like, wow, like, I never want to be treated like that. And the way she treated me really sucked, especially when I thought we were closer than that. And it just made me, and remember talking to my mom, like, people really come and go in your life. And and of course you kind of like know that, but when you experience it, it hits differently. And that sucks. And the friends that I have now, my girly pops, I know y'all are listening. I love y'all down. And, I can say I don't have friendships that way. I feel like the energy and what I put into my friends, they put back into me. And we all have crazy lives. One of my friends, all of them have boyfriends. Ugh. I'm the only single one. Grody. But all of them have boyfriends. One of them has a husband, and she has a child who's the cutest little thing. And, but we all still have a connection. And they're my girls, and I don't want to lose them. And I think all in all of this to say, life happens. And life is hard, bro. At 23, I'm really realizing that, like, I really took being a kid, I really took that, I didn't really take it and really enjoy it as much as I should have. I enjoyed it, but I could have enjoyed it 10 times more, because being an adult is hard, and people come and go in your life. People who you thought would be with you forever come and go. But when you experience it as an adult, for some reason it hurts a little bit more, or for me it does, because I'm already putting you in a place in my life, and for you to be taken out of that kind of sucks. And I don't know if anybody else feels that way about their friendships, but that's how I feel. People, take their relationships really seriously. I don't have a boyfriend, okay? So my energy goes into my family and my friends. And, yeah, and I don't know, that was really interesting, and that was a really interesting moment that it was last weekend, and really made me put things in perspective and make sure that my friends mean a lot to me, that they know they mean a lot to me. So adult friendships are hard, and you're not going to see each other all the time, you're not going to talk to each other all the time, but making it known that the love is still there, the connection is still there. And when we get back together, when we get together again, when we get those girl dinners, it's going to feel like we've been around each other every single day. That's very important. And I guess another thing that I've learned that I'm trying to do is not be, I guess, as petty, because I definitely could have went up to her and said something, but because I was still, I feel like something just came to me, because I was still expecting more from her, right? In the friendship, I was expecting more from her all those years ago. And for some reason, I was still expecting more from her. And sometimes it's just good to know that what that person is giving you is all they can give you. And you can't expect more from people who didn't care about you the same way you cared about them. I don't know. You just do your thing, treat people the way you want to be treated, and make sure those friends, because at the end of the day, guys, we can get boyfriends, we can get husbands, we can have kids, but the only people that will really bring us and make us feel like, oof, are our friends. Our friends are important. At least for me. I don't have a boyfriend, so I really don't know. I might change when I get one. I might be obsessed with my boyfriend and ditch all my friends. Nah, that's not me. But my friends are really important to me. But surround yourself with people who fill up your cup as well. Surround yourself with people who treat you the exact same way you treat them. If you have someone positioned in your life, make sure you're of that same rank. Because if you're not, babe, it's not going to feel nice. So just love your friends, love on your friends, tell your friends you love them, but also have respect for yourself, and to know when, something is not for you anymore, and to not be okay with bare minimum or mediocre, especially if you're not giving mediocre or bare minimum. I feel like that's something really important, and as we're getting older and building families and whatever, we want to have those people in our lives that actually matter, that actually mean something. And I feel like the girly pops that I have in my life now will definitely be in my life 5 years, 10 years from now. I know they will. I love them. And if y'all are watching, I love y'all. But yeah, that's a little story that I wanted to share with y'all because, y'all, I have so many friend stories. I just seem like I don't have luck with friends, bro. Like, when I tell y'all, there was a period in high school where I lost all of my friends. Junior year of high school, I lost all of them. Maybe I'll tell the story now. But you know what? I feel like that's ooh, should I tell it? I don't know. It's probably the first time. And it left me really, if I'm being honest, really depressed. I lost all the friend group that I've had since middle school when I was like 11, 12 years old, all kind of dropped me all at the same dang time. Junior year of high school. Junior year of high school sucks also. Testing. I don't know, something about that year was not a good year for me. You know, ACT testing, just everything just felt like it was falling apart. And when my friends left me, I was sad, bro. Like, sad. I remember crying a lot of nights alone. I don't even know if my parents knew this, but I cried a lot. I ate lunch by myself, which is really sad. Like, sat at a lunch table by myself. And there was this girl. And keep in mind, this friend group that I had, one of the girls was my best friend. Oh, I loved her. You know, our families loved each other. Our parents were friends. I've had breakfast at her house with her family. Like, we were just really close. So she was my main friend in that friend group. So when all of them I was alone. And I remember there was this one girl who was a senior at the time. I ate lunch with her and her friends. I had a class with her. And she was really nice to me. Her name was Brilliance. Shout out Brilliance. I don't know if you're watching this, but she let me sit with her and her friends at lunch. Brilliance, if you're watching this, you're probably not. But if you are, thank you so much. Because I was really sad. I sat at lunch by myself and she let me sit with her and her friends. And then I remember seniors got out of school early. Probably 3 weeks before everybody else. a month, something like that. And when her and her friends left, because they were graduating, I sat by myself at the lunch table. I would put my headphones on with my phone, or I would walk around. Ugh, it was so sad. And it's kind of making me emotional just thinking about it because I've never felt so alone. And when you're that young, I was 16, 15, 16, and having people who, at the time when you're 16, who you're friends with, you think y'all are going to be best friends for life, especially through, finishing out high school together. And when that wasn't it for me, it was really sad. And I remember being really sad about it and hurt. Ooh, I was hurt more than anything because it felt like they just forgot about me. Ooh, I don't want to cry. Hold on. Just thinking back to that, I was so sad. And ew, I don't want to cry. But I was really sad. And it made me feel really bad about myself. And it was a miscommunication. I don't even really remember what was the issue, but I just remember there was just this miscommunication, and then they all just kind of left me. And the one who was my best friend, I didn't expect her to do that. And I just remember crying in class, bro. I would have to excuse myself from the class. I was just so sad, and anything at that point made me emotional. I remember, bro, I was sitting in class, and all that's going on around me. I was sitting in math class. Math wasn't my subject. I was only good at math when the teacher was there really breaking it down for me. I remember I was in math class. I have all this happening. My friends aren't friends with me anymore. I'm sitting at lunch by my freaking self. I'm sad. I'm crying before I go to bed at night. And I'm sitting in math class, and I can't get the freaking problem. And I remember I turned around, and I was like, hey, can anyone help me? Do y'all understand what's going on? Can y'all help me? And the girl that was sitting behind me was like, no. And, okay, she said no. But the fact that she told me no, and I think it was just at the time. Because, okay, she didn't want to help me. All right, Taliyah, turn around and continue working. But for some reason, when she told me no, that just broke me. And I remember turning around and just crying in my seat. So, I was just so overwhelmed. Any and everything made me emotional. And it probably wasn't even that deep. Okay, she just told me no, she won't help me. But it was just like, why? Like, why are you being rude to me? Like, why? And we weren't friends, but I've known her and we've talked being in classes together. So I was just like, why won't you help me? I just remember turning around and like crying to myself. And I remember one time I like excused myself from the class and like cried in the bathroom. Just because like that's sad, you know, when you're a teenager, your friends mean everything to you. And I think I just felt disposable. Like it just felt like, wow, all of them are kind of just leaving me behind. And I felt really alone. Really alone. And that's probably the first time I experienced what depression was. I hid it really well. I don't even think my parents probably thought I was depressed, but I was. I hid it so good. I cried myself to sleep every night. I was really sad. And then I was also like, in high school, I feel like a lot of people knew me as like a bubbly, loud person. You know, I was a loud person in class. I talked all the time. I had a bubbly personality. So I would go to school, put on that face, be like the Taliyah, everybody kind of, you know, Taliyah's Taliyah, that's Taliyah. She's just being herself. And then I would like be on the bus ride home or just like sad, bro. So sad. I didn't go to prom that year because I didn't go to homecoming that year. I didn't go to prom that year because not only did nobody ask me to prom, but all the people who I was friends with are not friends with me anymore, and they're all going to prom together, and I just didn't want to go to prom alone, so I didn't go. And it was really sad. I can't think I just got emotional about that. I haven't gotten emotional about that in a long time. But I think just imagining myself, like, sitting at a lunch table by myself and, like, everybody having friends, and I didn't have anybody, like, that really sucked. Yeah, that was rough, but I just felt really alone. And that's because I care about people who I say are my friends so much, and I'm kind of still the same way now. Like, if I lose a friend, especially if it's someone I really cared about, I get really emotional because I don't want to lose that person. But thinking of little 16-year-old Taliyah eating lunch by herself just kind of brings me to tears a little bit. But, you know, I came back that next year and I had a great senior year, so it's whatever. But at the time, it really sucked. And I have more fun stories where that came from. I don't want to... But yeah, so pour into people who pour into you guys. And don't let the whole thing of we're adults now, things get kind of busy to be an excuse, because it's not an excuse. We all make time for what we want to make time for. Point blank period. You know, we all make time for people we don't really want to. We all do it. You know, if someone doesn't want to put an hour lunch away for you, then don't worry about it. You know, if someone is calling you and they're just talking about themselves, don't worry about it. You know? So really, you know who you are. Protect your heart, bro. Protect your peace. Protect your peace is like my saying. I say that all the time. Protecting my peace, and don't get taken advantage of. So that's my little story on that. And I don't know if that lets y'all know a little bit more about me, but I guess it kind of lets you guys know about how I care and how deep I care. And when I say I care about you, I really do care about you. So yeah, I kind of got emotional in the second episode. Ugh, Taliyah, suck it up. Now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, where I get to talk about my one really true love, reality TV. Ooh, I love reality TV, and a lot happened in the reality TV world. So I'm really going to go in depth and talk about all the things. But before I start, I just want to say, because we are talking about reality TV, I don't know if any of you guys watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but a person on there, her name's Mary Cosby, who I love. She's my favorite housewife out of all the Housewives franchises. She lost her son, Robert Jr., which was so sad. He recently passed away 2 days ago. And I just want to put my condolences out there for Mary and her family. And that's so sad. I know it hit the Bravo universe really hard. If you love reality TV, you know that was like heartbreaking. Me and my friends were like, oh my gosh, like this is so sad. He struggled a lot, and something Robert said that really stuck with me. I remember on last season, or the season after last, he said that he felt like a stain to the world. And if you haven't been in depression before, I don't think you'll get it, but you really feel like, ugh, I suck. Nobody likes me, and I think it's really, really sad. And I know Mary, just from watching the show, she really tried everything she could to like get him back on track, and it's just a sad story. So I just wanted to say that before we got into the nitty gritty. But yeah, that's that. Now, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. Part 2 came out on Sunday, and there's a couple things that we'll hit on. The reunion was exciting, but not that exciting. But they touched on the fact of Ashley kissing Sharice's son, who was 10 years younger than her. Now, age is whatever, they're all adults, right? But I think kissing your friend's son, whether he's an adult, even though he's an adult, is a little bit much. It's pushing a boundary, and it's definitely pushing a line, and Ashley knew what she was doing, and it should have never happened. But knowing that Sharice was like going around social media and acting like she was all mad about it, but in reality, behind the scenes, she was like, kind of like, pumping it up, hyping it up a little bit. It's like, Sharice, why are you playing out in front of the public that you had a problem with it when you really didn't really care? But I will not make out with my friends' kids. That's crazy. I don't care if they're 30. Alright? Absolutely not. That's so freaking weird. Kay and her picture frame. Child. Let me just say this. If you're dating a man for 4 years, I don't even remember how long her and Greg are dating. And he buys you, and he's supposed to be out buying a engagement ring. And he buys you a picture frame. Maybe we should think about this. I just feel like that whole thing, and I know she loves her picture frame. She was like, I love my picture frame. I'll get my ring whenever. Y'all, never let a man make you look stupid. And that's why I say never move in with a boyfriend. I am 23 years old, and I will never move in with a boyfriend. Call me old school. Call me old school, I don't care. I will never, ever, ever move in with a boyfriend. It never works, guys. And if it does work, great. It's not a good idea. You shouldn't do it. Why are you playing wifey with no ring on your finger? He's having his cake and eating it too, babe. He's having a grand old time. You're doing this man's laundry. You're cooking him dinner. Of course he's living life. Of course he wants you to live with him. I just think that's not my vibe. Also, I come from a very Christian Baptist, Black South, very, Southern Black Baptist household. And I am 23 years old. And if I told my mother, I'm grown, I'm an adult. And if I told my mother I was moving in with my boyfriend, she would hold me hostage. She would hold me hostage in the house, and that would never happen. Like, I just didn't grow up like that. Like, we don't move in with boyfriends. That's crazy. And I'm personally not playing wifey to someone who's not my husband. Like, that's crazy too. I'm not washing your dirty drawers. That's not for me. Once you're my husband, I might not want to wash your dirty drawers, but I'll do them because I'm your wife and I love you. But I ain't moving in with a boyfriend. That's why you shouldn't do that. Because if you move in with a boyfriend, you're with them for 4+ years, and you get a picture frame instead of a ring for a present. Girl, you played yourself. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. And if your girlfriends are even telling you, yes, move in with them, girl, lose the friend. That's a bad friend. Don't do it. I can't stand when people do that. And I live in a small town where, like, everybody is, like, getting a house with their boyfriend. And I'm like, hold up, did girly pop get engaged? I'm zooming in on the picture, and there's no ring on her finger, and I'm like, oh, so she's moving in with this boy? Y'all are buying a house together? Weird flex, but okay. Couldn't be me, and I'm not judging, y'all. I'm not judging, I'm just saying I don't think it's a good decision. And if any of my friends ever tell me and I've had friends who've moved in with their significant others. I never thought it was a good idea. And I'll voice that I don't think it's a good idea. But if you do it, you baby, it's your life. I just would recommend it. I will die on that hill. Do not move in with a boyfriend, y'all. Do not. Also, Jazzy came in hot, didn't she? Jazzy had a problem with everybody. And then learning that Jazzy's recording phone calls, girl. I just thought Jazzy came on real hot in that reunion. I don't know why. She's really trying to earn her spot. She really wants to be a housewife and not a friend of anymore. I thought she was doing a bit much, like pipe down a little bit. She was coming for Kay and saying how she was the mistress for Greg and his ex-wife. And like, whoa, all this stuff that we didn't know about? A bit much for me. And then lastly that happened was the whole Monique, Stacey, and Chris of it all. Guys, if I hear one more thing about Chris Samuels, I'm going to lose it. Who cares about Chris Samuels? And who cares if him and Stacey went on a date? If they went on one date, who actually cares? Monique divorced the man for a reason. Why do we keep bringing it up? Like, I don't get it. And let's say Stacey did go on a date with him. Who cares? Monique don't care. Monique was he's not my husband no more. He can do whatever he wants. Like, I don't get it. And Stacey could be lying about it. Stacey does tell lies. But even though I love her, Stacey tells lies. But even if she is, who really cares? They're not together anymore. And Monique doesn't care. If Monique cared, that'd be one thing. But Monique even says she don't care. So why are we bringing this up? Like, I feel like let's leave Chris Samuels in the past. It's annoying. It's driving me crazy. Like, leave it be. Who cares? She's with Timo. Like, move on. It's so ridiculous. Ugh, that just made me so upset. Alright, that was it for the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. I'm really excited about part 3 because Mama Karen's coming back, and we're also going to go in depth of Whitney's arrest, which is what I really want to talk about, which is what I really want to dive into. So, I'm excited for next week, and we'll do a little recap of the reunion part 3 next Monday. Alright, let's talk about Love is Blind, because this is where I have a lot to talk about. So, first couple, Devontae and Brittany. Y'all, I will say this, and I will say this in full confidence. Devontae don't want to marry that girl, and Devontae's not going to marry her. Devontae and Brittany aren't getting married. If you have to beg a man, first of all, it's not a personality trait for a man to not want to call his girlfriend, or better yet, his fiance, beautiful. Wouldn't you want to call your fiance beautiful, perfect, gorgina, gorgelicious, hot stuff? That's what you do. You compliment your partner. And the fact that we're going around and acting like this is a personality trait of Devontae, Brittany's sitting there saying, and I know it's not your thing to call me pretty, and I would love for you to call me pretty, but I know that's just not your personality. Sweetie, the lights are on, but nobody is home. Because what are you talking about? You should want to compliment your partner. The problem is he doesn't find her physically attractive. We figured that out. Devontae doesn't find black women attractive. Which is okay, that's your preference. But to sit there and be like, I still want to marry this man? Why do you want to marry someone who doesn't think you're pretty? Yeah. Why do you want to do that? That's not okay to me. And for Devontae to keep carrying this on when he knows dang well he don't want to marry this woman, and spare her, please spare her. Let her live her life. But no, he's keeping her on a string. I'm surprised they even are still together. I thought they were going to break up back in Mexico, but they're still here on this journey, and you just girl bought her wedding dress before the show. This girl bought a wedding dress before the show. And you're gonna keep carrying this on with her when you know you don't want to be with her? That's weird behavior to me. Like, what? Love is Blind must be paying these people money, bank, the way they just be staying and saying no at the altar. I ain't embarrassing me in front of my family, put my family on TV when I know I don't want to be with someone. Like, that's weird to me. Like, don't ever accept the bare minimum. Yo, that's why I'm single. Would I want to be in a relationship? Sure. Yeah, who wouldn't? But I have standards, and there's things that I want from a man, and I'm not going to accept the bare minimum just because I want to be married, or just because I want to be in a relationship. We have the rest of our lives to be married. We have the rest of our lives to be in a relationship. I'm not going to settle for the first thing that comes my way because I don't want to be alone. Girl, I don't care if I've already bought a wedding dress, if I already bought the venue for the wedding, if I already bought everything for the wedding. If my husband or my fiance is not who I should end up with, then I'm canceling it. Like, we have to do what's best for us. Women, we have to have better standards. We accept bare minimum and then we complain about crappy men. Well, how about we start putting crappy men in their place and not accepting what the behaviors they're giving us? Because you can't have both, babe. We're being hypocrites. We're being hypocrites, ladies. Let's get it together. Like, that was crazy to me. And he's sitting there like, yeah, I won't ever call you pretty. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Ugh. Move on to Emma and Mike. They also stress me out. We all know that Emma is struggling with the fact if she wants kids. And Emma doesn't have to have kids, she doesn't want to. Not every woman needs to be a mother, alright? If she just want to be a mom, she's want to be a mom. I respect her decision. But it's the fact that Mike keeps saying, if you don't want to be a mom, I need you to tell me that. Because I want to be a father, and I can't be with you, basically, if you don't want to be a mom. And they're on this little zoo date. And Emma is sitting here basically saying, like, I mean, with you, I see that family. And she's kind of like laughing through it. And he's like, okay, but are you telling me you want kids? And she's not really saying yes. And she hasn't really given him a definite answer of yes, I want to have kids. Because Girly Pop is still struggling with the decision, which she can, but also don't ruin or mess up or waste his time. When you know it's all based off your decision whether you want to have kids or not. You're wasting his time. And that's not okay. Mike's journey is also Mike's journey. And you're going to ruin Mike's journey because you're taking him to the freaking, to the altar when you know that you probably don't want to have kids. Like, Mike's family's also not down with that. His sister said, I want my kids to have cousins. They are straight up. And Emma, I know why she's struggling with it, but she should have said a definite answer before the wedding. And the first part of the wedding was so pretty. She looks great. He looks good. I think they're going to say yes, if I'm being honest. And I think they will end up having kids, probably. But it didn't. The way it ended was a little like, ooh, what's going on here? But it ended on a cliffhanger, but I do think that they will get married. I think he really loves her, but she better get him some kids, or he is going to be out the window. I don't know why. If I want a kid so much, and someone who I'm on a show with like this doesn't want kids, I'm not going to say I want to marry you. Why would we jump over a hurdle when we could have just been like, oh, we're probably not going to be for each other. Instead, you're going to propose to this person, and now you're struggling. Now that y'all's whole story is whether she's going to say yes to having kids or not. Like, I don't even know why he put herself in that position. Emma has every right to not want to have kids, but Emma is wrong for taking Mike down this journey when she probably knows she doesn't want to have kids. Like, girl, why don't you just tell him it's not going to work? I don't know. This show is crazy. Do I still watch it? And yes, I will continue to watch. Amber and Jordan. Amber and Jordan are interesting. I saw a lot more of their relationship than I think we've ever had. The last podcast, I said I didn't really see a spark between them. I don't know. I kind of saw it today. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of saw it. I think they are really cute together, and I think Amber was like, she kind of got upset when Jordan was kind of expressing to the guys his nervousness of meeting Emma, her daughter, which I totally get. You know, I am not at the stage of my life where I want to be with someone who has kids. I'm 23 years old. I really don't want to do that. I don't want to be in carpool drop-off. Like, that's just not my testimony, which is totally fine. But when you decide that you're going to be with someone who has a kid, you have to act accordingly. Like, you want that kid to like you. You are going to be nervous about it. That is something to be nervous about. You're going to parent or be a part of parenting a kid that's not yours, you know? And that's something that you really have to be ready for to do that, you know? And I respect anybody who does that. My dad did it for me. My dad came into my life, and I love him for doing it. You know, you really have to have that, to have that something in you to do that. And he was just expressing how he's nervous about it. You know, he hasn't met Emma yet, and he doesn't know how it's going to be. And I think Amber heard him say it in a way of like, he was going to bail out, but she wasn't. And they got over that hurdle. She was upset with him, but then they talked about it. The communication was there, and I saw the love between them. I did. And I think, I don't know, Amber's daughter, but I think it's going to go well. And Jordan gives real dad vibes, real pop vibes. So I think they're going to get married. I think they're going to make it to the altar, and I think it's going to be cute. I think they might be probably one of the only couples to get married. I see it happening for them. And I thought that was cute. I think their relationship is cute. She's kind of... Amber has some sass to her too, babe. And I don't know, they kind of balance each other out, and I like that about them. Alex and Ashley, y'all. Didn't I tell y'all Alex was a scammer? I told y'all Alex was a scammer. This man, come to find out, that the Austin, Texas ex that he told Ashley about, he lived with her. He lived with her. He said it as if, oh, my ex lived in Austin. I visited Austin and I saw her. No, babe. You were moved in. You were living with her. And he lied and didn't tell Ashley that. And he was like, well, I didn't really think I needed to say that. What do you mean you didn't feel like you needed to say that? Are you okay? Is this man well? Like, this man, I've never met a man like this before in my life. He's running from the feds. He is running for something, y'all. And this is what he said, y'all. He said that he's going to have a house in Florida, a trust in Dubai, and a safe house in New Zealand. Whatever that means. Like, sir, you don't even have a job. Like, this man is crazy. And Ashley is sitting there, and she's starting to realize, like, this man is full of crap. This man will continue to lie. He's lived in outer space, y'all. I wouldn't be surprised if Alex said he went on a 2-month mission to outer space with NASA at this point. Everything he says is crap. He is a scammer. He's running from the feds. He's running from the mob. He's running from somebody. Because I don't get it. Even when he was arguing with Ashley, he was getting real defensive. Sir, your life is very complicated. You have no need or reason to be this crazy. And Ashley's at the wedding fitting of her wedding dress, and I'm like, Ashley, you ain't gonna marry this man. You will be in some serious trouble. The feds will be after you too, babe. Once you take his name and y'all file taxes together, you will be on the run. Like, this whole thing is crazy to me. It's just more lies. My prediction of how the story's gonna end is Ashley's going to find out another lie. And that's when she's going to cut him off. Or at the altar, she's going to end up saying no. Something's going to happen. I think she's going to find out something else and it'll end. But I've never met a man like him before in my life. I've never seen a man like that before in my life. He is, of course there's liars. Men lie, duh. But he is the king of lies. This man be saying any and everything. It's scary, actually. It's real scary. Like, what do you mean? I didn't feel like I needed to say that information. Excuse me? We're in a process where the relationship is fast-tracked. The end goal is marriage. Y'all, they actually signed a legal marriage license. What makes you think you can't give her every detail of everything? It's weird. And no, him talking to his mom, it did not make me feel like, oh, okay, this is starting to make sense. If anything, it made it weirder for me. Because why are you on the run too? This isn't normal. A nomadic lifestyle is not normal. Like, what do you mean it probably is normal. People travel, but his is fishy. Something's going on, and I'm telling y'all, the feds are coming for him. It's real weird. It's weird. Let's talk about Connor and Bree. Bree breaks up with Connor. I'll just get straight to the point. Bree breaks up with Connor. But the way she did it was very strange. And some things I agree with Bree on, and some things I don't agree with Bree on. Here's the thing I do agree with Bree on. I, too, want a dominant man. I do. That's why I'm also single. I'm waiting for someone who I feel like takes control of situations. And Connor is a little bit on the submissive side, you know? I always say I want someone who's going to take charge. I want someone who's going to tell me what to do, but also not tell me what to do. Like, not in a way of, like, controlling me, but like keeps me on track. I want someone who is a leader. I don't want to think when I'm with whoever my next boyfriend is going to be. I don't want to be able to think because he already has it under control. You know what I mean? Like, he just takes control. And Brie is a very alpha woman. I've been told that I have a very alpha mentality. And I've been in a relationship where I felt like I was driving the boat, babe. I felt like I was really captain of the ship and I was really making moves. And I did not like it. I hated it. One of the main reasons why it ended. I want to be the one that's laid back. I want to be the one that kind of is led. And trust me, I'm an outspoken and loud now. So that will not change when I'm in that relationship. I will still be talking my smack and doing my thing. But I want someone to kind of be the provider, be the big man in the relationship. And I'm the cutesy little girl on the end who has a big mouth. That's what I want. So I get where Bree's coming from with that. Connor doesn't have that, like, go-getter, kind of attitude towards him. But she was very contradicting. Like, she was like, you do this, you have flowers for me every time I come home, you race down to open the door for me, you do this, you do this. But is that all I want? And I just feel like it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. Like, I did not think she was ending the relationship with him. She was, like, complimenting him the entire time and then, like, broke up with him. It was weird. And he was very mature and he took it on the chin. You could obviously tell he was sad about it, but he obviously was just, like, you know, like, maybe outside of this it can work. Like, he was very so optimistic about it all. Like, she wants the qualities of Connor in another man. Like, she wants the qualities of Connor. She wants the way Connor speaks. She wants the way Connor treats her, but in someone else, which kind of sucks. And that's not a compliment. Like, oh, you want someone to treat you how I treat you, but you don't want that someone to be me. That kind of sucks. And that's kind of what she was saying. But I get her on the whole, he's not dominant enough for her. I get that, babe. I get that. I get that way too much. But it was just sad because you can tell that Connor really loved her. And if they went to the altar, Connor would have said yes in a heartbeat. He would have said yes. And their families really got along. But at the end of the day, if you don't see it, and I respect Brie for doing it before the altar, break up with me beforehand. Don't break up with me in front of my family. That's crazy. So I feel like she should have just been straight up with Connor towards the whole way. I feel like it all kind of came out towards the end. But I feel like they're very amicable. I feel like they'll be friends. I feel like they probably even try dating again. Watch at the reunion. Mark my words. At the reunion, they're going to be like, I tried dating again. It still didn't work. But Brie needs a strong man. You know. So do I. And then I'm going to lastly talk about Vic and Christine, my very favorite couple on the show. We don't get to see Vic and Christine a lot, but 100% they're getting married. Their relationship is beautiful. Every time I see them on screen, it's like a breath of fresh air from all the craziness that we have to go through on this show. Love is really blind with them. There's only a few people that have done the show where I've been like, yeah, love is blind. Like, it actually worked. It's working with Vic and Christine. They're definitely going to get married. They're definitely going to stay at the altar. They're definitely going to have kids, and they're going to live a beautiful life. I see it for them. I love them. They're mature. They're super mature, having their conversations about being in an interracial marriage and the way they talk to each other, their love for God, all of it. I love it. It just makes me so happy. And they're definitely saying yes. We don't see them a lot, but that's for sure happening. Okay, moving on. We're talking about Summer House, my favorite show. Let's just jump right into it. Jesse Solomon's it's getting weird. It's getting weird, Jesse Solomon. I think the issue that's having me troubled is everybody just looks at Sierra as this beautiful, tall model, but Sierra is so much more than being pretty. And I feel like guys think that's a compliment, like always saying how pretty you are. It actually gets old. Because it's like, okay, but what else? I'm like, okay, but what else? And is there anything else about me? You know, I feel like Sierra is not going to like the way Jesse has been talking about her. And Jesse is best friends with Wes. And for him to go to Wes and say, would you mind if me and Sierra make out? You're weird. Friends' exes are off limits. And for him to be so, like, laughy about it was weird. Ben and KJ were like, bro, like, why would you even ask that stupid question? And he knows Sierra. Him and Sierra are friends. Sierra's not going to be okay with him saying that. Sierra's going to give it to him next episode, and I can't wait. And I want Sierra to tell these men there's so much more than meat than beauty. Like, it's not a compliment anymore. Like, it's like you're not really seeing me. You're just seeing the outside of me. You're not trying to get to know me deeper. And Sierra has such a story and so much to say, and all they see is her physical, and it's annoying. And as a woman, it's hard to watch. And I think she's really gonna give it to them and be like, bro, like, stop objectifying me a little bit. Like, it's weird. I also want to say I love that Lindsay is back. I love that Lindsay and Sierra are friends. I was never really a Team Lindsay kind of girl, but Lindsay came back with a new aura about her, and I can't wait to see more of her this season. I can't wait to see more of her and Amanda and Sierra really built that friendship and bond. But that was really the episode. It was kind of just about Jesse being weird and wanting to have a relationship with Sierra. That's, let's be real, is never going to happen. And I think it's very disrespectful to West, because West is supposed to be his best friend. And for you to ask that is weird. Like, he's moving very strange, and now it's like, it was like 2 years ago, it was, what would Jesse Solomon do? Now it's, I don't want to know what Jesse Solomon will do. Stop, actually. You need to be put on pause. But yeah, that was kind of it for Summer House. And lastly, my last show, my favorite show, Traitors. The season finale and the reunion was last night, and Rob won. Of course he did. Of course little snake boy did. I'm so proud of Rob. I think Rob 100% deserved it. The faithfuls this season were absolutely horrible. Trash. They sucked. And Rob just not even coasted. He didn't even coast, bro. He really worked for it. And they really fell into his lap. And I don't feel bad. I do not feel bad for Maura at all. I don't feel bad. Because everybody was telling her, girly pop, it's Rob. And she was never going to turn on him. She never was. You know, I think she fully believed that Tara and Johnny were not traitors. But she trusted Rob. And she knew that Eric wasn't a traitor, but she wanted to ride it out with Rob. And Rob played her. He played the game and he did what he had to do, you know, and Maura was just gullible. Amanda's never that cute, babe. Never. And I think, especially when you have that many signs, you should have just realized that, like, maybe they're telling me the truth here. But I'm kind of so happy for Rob. The way he played the game is exactly how I would play the game. And I say that because they are doing a Traitors season with, like, normal people. And I'm so excited. I want to be on Traitors. Put me on Traitors. I feel like I would be so good. I feel like not only will they like me, I feel like I'll have a lot of friends. I feel like they would trust me. I think I could get really far. I feel like I could put on a really good poker face and be myself, but not too much, and not be too quiet at the same time. Put me on Traitors, bro. Peacock, NBC, put me on Traitors. I will do so good. I will win. I want to win Traitors. I really want to be on Traitors. But yeah, Rob won. He 100% deserved it. And I'm so sad that the show is over because that was one of my favorite shows on TV. But hopefully next time when it comes on, I'll be on it. But yeah, guys, that is all for today. Thank you so much for being here and yapping it up with me. I hope you guys learned a lot about me as well this episode. I feel like I got a little deep. Just a little bit. And I can't wait to go deeper with y'all. Thank you so much, so much for all the support that I've been getting over the last week. It has been so overwhelming, but also, like, making my little heart so happy. And it's making me nervous and excited all at the same time. I just want to say thank you for all the love. This is something I'm really looking forward to. Every Friday I film, and it's been something I've really been looking forward to, and I love it so much. And I hope you guys are really loving these episodes, and I can't wait to go deeper and tell more stories and really go into the depth and dirt and gritty of life, because I have so many things I want to share with y'all. So I really appreciate that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you guys for listening to the Licensed Yapper podcast. Please follow me on all social medias, TikTok and Instagram. I would really appreciate it. Leave a comment, leave a review down below if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But yeah, I hope to see you guys back next week. I love you all so much. Peace and blessings. Bye, y'all.